How does inflammation affect ED?
I'm a big believer that all disease is caused from inflammation, whether it's erectile dysfunction, cardiac disease, Alzheimer's disease, even depression. Inflammation is good for some things, so if you injure your muscle, you want to have some inflammation going on to help increase the repair of that muscle. But if you have chronic inflammation, let's say in your blood vessels, and your endothelium, that's the coating of your blood vessels, that's a problem. That's how you develop atherosclerosis. That's the cholesterol plaques that develop in your blood vessels. So just like you get those cholesterol plaques in your heart, on your heart arteries, you get it in your brain, and you also get it in the vessels surrounding the penis area and the blood supply to the penis area. So one of the first things that we see when someone's maybe in their 40s and they're having erectile dysfunction is that could be a harbinger for cardiac disease. So that's a good thing to, one of the first things I ask is, are you getting erections? Are you getting morning erections? Are you able to hold an erection during a sexual activity?
How is smoking one of the major issues for somebody who's suffering from ED?
Well, smoking causes a lot of inflammation throughout the body, and it causes a lot of vasoconstriction of the blood vessels. So that's where the blood vessels kind of constrict like this. And when they constrict like this too much, their ability to not constrict and dilate becomes less and less, and we call it less compliant. And that's, if you have a long-standing smoking history, when the blood vessels are hardened because they can't expand as much, you're gonna have decreased chances of making nitric oxide, which is an important hormone that helps with the blood vessels to dilate. You also get more atherosclerosis in blood vessels, so that's clogging up of the arteries with cholesterol plaques. So it's not only happening in your heart, but it happens in your legs, in the arteries in the abdomen, and in the arteries that supply the blood to the penis. So smoking is one of the worst things you can do for your overall health, and especially for your erectile function.
When we're talking about stress, I think a very common misnomer is that stress is just mental. So we think, I guess you think about stress, what comes to mind?
Oh, the things I gotta do tomorrow, deadlines that are happening, relationships that aren't working out, all the things that's just affecting my headspace.
Right.
Just having a to-do list that you can't complete.
A to-do list. I mean, even think about like traffic and sitting in traffic in our cities nowadays, rush hour, like how stressful that is. But stress is also physical. So when you think about physical stress, what comes to mind?
Just that anxiety in my gut, just that feeling of not wanting to be in a certain place, I guess. Sometimes stress might be performance anxiety.
Right. Stressors that could cause that stress are also physiologically driven. So not just, again, mental deadlines or rush hour traffic or to-do list, but things like how we use our technology at night, for instance, or not just at night, but during the day. Most people are on their screens 11 hours a day. Just the way we are living our lifestyles are not innately wired in us, if that makes sense. And so humans used to live outside in the earth, and we were in touch with the natural rhythms of the day, sunlight and then sundown. And we have certain rhythms still wired in us, and we are very much destroying those with the ways that we are, our work style environment, for instance, and just the hours that we spend in artificial light inside during the daytime hours, and then artificial light at nighttime as well during the nighttime hours.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because I know that the later in the day that I'm staring at my laptop or my phone before bed, then I can't fall asleep right away.
Right.
My heart rate is elevated. I'm thinking, it elevates my stress levels because then I'm thinking of my to-do list for the next day and I can't actually fall asleep.
So that's just one example of a physiological stressor that's not hardwired in our bodies. Another example of a physiological stressor would just be like our diet and what we're eating on a daily basis. And so for instance, just because something's common doesn't mean it's normal. Eating the same things every day even. We can be eating a super clean or healthy diet, but when we're eating chicken and broccoli for every meal, your body was not hardwired to eat that chicken and broccoli for every meal. Your body really thrives and needs the variety of the nutrients from different foods. And so that can become a physiological stressor to your body as well.